everyone, it's Tara here with Create Life Paper Words, and this is the very beginning of my December daily series. I was just showing you what I'm using. I picked up the Ashley Goldberg kit from Ali Edwards. I really liked the colors in this. I liked the black and whites with the pinks and reds and the soft blues and golds. So that's why I picked that one up. I didn't want to get a full kit because I had a feeling I probably wouldn't use it all, and I'm glad I didn't get the main one or any of the others because I had a pretty late start to this December one. In fact, I've actually changed it from a December daily to doing 25 December moments, and that's just because my youngest got sick at the beginning, and it's only in the last day or two that she's actually started to feel better. So my pictures have been so minimal because we haven't really been doing anything really December related on a daily basis. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start my book with one of these grid ones. So they are 2x2 squares, 3 across and 4 down, so 12 squares total. So I took my 6x8 designer papers by Ashley Goldberg, and I just started cutting them at 2x2. I am just sort of, playing with them, trying to figure out where I want things, making sure that my colors are balanced. I do take the stuff from at this point, and I start adding some embellishments. I don't want to embellish too much. I do definitely want to keep this book minimal. My focus is on talking about our things and moments of Christmas that I remember and I really want to keep. And so I'm trying to keep that philosophy minimal and not doing too much embellishing, as I want it to be about those December moments. So one of the fun things that I did is I had gotten some acrylic paint in the kit, and so I had seen this really cute, I think it was a YouTube video on how someone had taped their washi with their washi onto their wood veneer, and then they only painted the bottom, and I absolutely loved that. So I tried doing it for this one. So I used gold, and then I also had this, I think it's called Hint of Mint or something like that, from Studio Calico from, probably like last year. The only thing is that I did not have a paintbrush, so I used my sponge, and I found that the mint didn't turn out as bright. I'm not sure if I should have done another coat or what, but that's okay. I also did the same with the letters Joy, Joy, and I sort of staggered where I put the washi on those ones, so some of them have a bit more and some have a bit less. I also went through my stash from last year, and I pulled out some things that I had found, or I guess that I didn't use last year, and that I'd kept. So I've got some chipboard pieces, which I think end up looking really well because they're with that same soft pink and then the red and white. So I really like how those circle chipboard pieces came together on this spread. I've also got a couple sequins. I just sort of am randomly putting things on. I did not really have a plan going into this as to how I wanted it to look, other than I wanted to have 25 December moments on there somewhere. So that is what I'm actually doing at this moment, putting on that December. And then I believe I have a stamp, or I guess a roller stamp that had moments on it or memories, something like that. To me, they're sort of interchangeable. And so I stamped that on, and then, a couple extra sequins. And then just sort of randomly placing things. I am trying to keep it somewhat spread out, so I was hoping to not have, 3 in a row or all of them in one sort of chunk. So you will see me moving stuff around, all those little squares, just so that I could sort of make sure things were looking balanced, and that my colors were balanced at the same time. I also wanted to make sure that I had 2015 on there, so I got out my alphabets. I've got some chipboard ones, and I've also got some wood veneer ones in there. And I decided to go with these black and white stripe ones because I feel that sort of goes with my theme colors that I've got going on. And I end up putting them at the bottom on the back side of this grid page. And I really, really like how and where they ended up getting placed. I couldn't fit 2015 all on one square, so I had to divide it into two squares. But I really find that black and white stripe really echoes everything else that I'm trying to do with this spread. So I do use this Joy, and these ones I had gotten from Stampin' Up's Embellishment Project Life December kit last year, and I never used them. And the Mary, the same thing, I got it from the same place, but I do not use that, and I haven't used it yet. I'm hoping that I will find just the right spot for it. Once I started playing with it on here, it didn't quite work. It didn't really fit how I wanted it to, so I just decided to leave that. And like I said, hopefully I can use it in, another page for this year's 25 December Moments book. So after I got everything where I wanted it, I adhered each of the squares, so the front and back together. The reason I did that was so that they wouldn't move around. I also did not have a grid, as I found out. I remembered that when I had gone to Michael's to get some page protectors, they didn't actually have the grid ones in stock. So I made my own with the fuse tool. It was interesting. Some of the fuse pockets aren't quite the same size as other ones. So most definitely, on my next trip to Michael's, I'm really hoping they have some more, because I do have plans to do a couple more grid pages in this album. So hopefully I can find some. So I did that first page, and then I took a look, and I had seen on Instagram this one that it was just this page, and I actually pretty much cased it. They had used a doily, and it was sort of white and very, very simple. So I really wanted to copy it, of course, using my own little thing and making it different. So that's what I did. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I just really like how simple it is, and how it's also an introduction to this book as well. So I do some stamping on there. I picked up two Kelly Purkey Christmas stamps sets, and I also picked up one of the Kelly Stamps stamp sets as well. And so I'm hoping to use all three of them, I guess, as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to put on right now a chipboard tree, and it's just not quite working. I think the color was just not quite how I wanted it to look. I do end up finding like a little transparent star that I think works a little bit better. It fades a little bit, but it's still got a little bit of color in it. So that's why I ended up using that. And then I wanted a little tiny bit of red in there as well. So I just used some white and red striped washi and backed it. So now I am working on the back of this, and I wanted to do this as my intentions page, so I'm just trying to decide what color to use. I end up going with this sort of little balloon, just because I end up doing all my words typed up and then putting them in a Christmas tree format. So I edited out the actual typing of these words on the typewriter, and so now all I'm doing is cutting strips. This can be a bit time consuming. It's also something that you have to do a lot of playing with, so I sped it up for you as well, so that I wasn't boring you too much with it. I always find it's best to lay it out first and then to tape it down, not necessarily the other way. Mine somehow worked out really well. I don't know how that happened. I even got like a little tree trunk at the bottom. Couldn't tell you how that happened, but it worked out really well. So I was really, really happy about that. So now I'm just laying everything down. I'm just using my tape runner for that. And then again at the top, I decide I don't really like the little heart up there. So I end up swapping it out for a little star sequins, actually 2 star sequins. One is white and then the other one is a peach color. So I just put one on top of the other. And then I decide to sort of sprinkle some other little sequins in this teal and silver, just because I think that it sort of looks like Christmas lights. Anyways, so those are my first 2 pages of my 25 December moments. As you can see here, I did some stills for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me again for my next installment of my December series.